Hi, Maximo. I am doing your feedback video because I believe it's going to be easier than typing. Thank you so much for submitting. I did see a few things that you did great. I did see that you did your, let's see here. Yep, your page numbers look great. Good job with that. Good job with placing in your images and placing them on only page 1 and 2. The one thing I wanted to kind of go over is how you're linking your text boxes. I don't see that happening. I see several different type boxes that are separate. We don't want that. We want this to be linked so that you just have, one text box that it's linked together for your article 1. And another thing is you don't have your character or your paragraph style set up yet. So let's go ahead and address this. So you have, let's see, let's go character. You have Berlin. Okay. I would probably choose a typeface that's a little easier to read than this one. I think this one's okay for, say, subheads, the Berlin, but it's really hard to read when you have a lot of type. And your leading is kind of spaced out a little bit too far. So I'm going to suggest some things going forward. Let's go ahead and you have your subheads in Mistral. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and just delete. This is what I want you to do. Just delete all your copy. I know it's terrible. You spend all this time, but go ahead and delete it because it's not properly placed in here anyway. I'm going to show you a really easy way to do this the correct way. Okay. So what we're going to do is we're going to take the type tool. We're going to do what you just did, lay out your type box. And we're going to go and copy in the first article and paste. So just do a paste in there. And what happens is when you paste it in that first text box in here, you can see a little red box, the lower bottom right-hand corner. This is telling me I have more copy, but I don't have enough space for it for you to see it. So if I pull this down, you'll see it, and it's still kind of, you won't see it all. So that's fine. We want to click off of here. What we want to do is go into your page 2, do another type box. Just, we can readjust this, just a whole big type box. Just place that in there. Click off of it. Go back to your first type box. Click on that red square so that we have this copy that we can link to this box. So what happens is anytime you shift this box, it's going to reflow the second box because it's linked together. That's how we want to do it. So go ahead and delete those boxes. Do exactly what I just did. You're going to need to paste it in there again. And then you can go in here and you can change your let's see here. Change your columns. So say if you wanted the 3 columns, you could do that here. Same thing over here. If you wanted this to be 2 columns, you just go to your object text frame options and choose 2. And then the next thing we need to worry about is your character and paragraph styles. So these work wonderfully whenever you are working on a larger piece with lots of information. It just helps you be more efficient. So we're going to do a select all with your copy. Again, just select all of your copy. So Command A. And then we're going to go to your paragraph style. Paragraph style is similar to a character style. It's the same concept. The only difference is we're going to deal with changing large amounts of text versus a headline or subhead, which you would do with a character style. So with the paragraph styles open, we're going to, in selecting your type, we're going to hit that little plus sign, and it's going to create another style under here. Basic paragraph will always be there. It's just a default. And we're going to double click on top of that so that we can rename this body copy. And then ignore everything here. Go to basic character formats, and we want to change the font to a very easy to read font. I would choose something like Times Regular is perfect. And a good ratio is 10-point type by 14. That's a good smaller type size. That's not too big. 12 is kind of getting really big. That's for, maybe people who can't see real good, like elderly people that you want to adjust that to. And it looks like you have your baseline grid checked. Give me 1 second here. Yeah, you do. Okay, so we're going to go 12 by 14, click OK. And that should set your body copy. The only thing is it looks like you have your baseline grid checked. So let's go ahead and let's double click back onto that. Okay, let's see. Oh, before I even go into that, let's go to indents and spacing. This is going to make it so that the reader knows when the next paragraph is. So under indents and spacing, first line indent, you want that to be 0.125. Okay. Click OK. We're going to go up to preferences here. I think something changed with your units and increments in your grids. Let's see. Okay, let's change this to 10. Yeah, there we go. So what you want to do, go up to preferences, go to units and increments. We just had it too spaced out. So go to your grids and then change your increment every 10 points. And click OK. That's going to bring your copy together a little bit so it's easier to read. It was too spaced out before. Okay. Now that we have that figured out, now we have our body copy figured out. Now we have to do our subheads. So go ahead and select your subhead. We'll do this first one. And we need to do a character style. We don't want to do a paragraph style because that's more than one, that's for like big chunks of text. We want to do a character style. It's the same thing, same concept. Do new character style. Go ahead and double click on top. And we're going to name this subhead. You have a little less options here, but that's okay. We're going to change the font here. You can change this to anything. I'm going to change it to Rockwell. It's a pretty good one. And this could be a little bigger. I'm going to do like 12. And you can change the color here too. Let's do red. And click OK. The only thing that you have to do is take this indent off because that's just for paragraphs. So with that selected, go to your paragraph styles and just choose basic paragraph, and that'll take that indent off. Okay. So this is what's really nice. Watch what happens when I select this next subhead. Hit basic paragraph and then subhead. Look at that. Isn't that awesome? So that's why these are so nice. So you don't have to go in and, I mean, it takes forever if you have to do that, to go in and do each one individually where you're changing the point size and trying to make it consistent. So go ahead and do that. You might even, let me see here. You go to preferences. Let's go back to units, increments, and grids again. Let's take this down to 9 points. I think this is getting a little, 9. Just a little bit together. There we go. I think that looks better. So 9 points, I think, should be what you should use that for. All right, and then what I would do is just make sure everything looks good. You have a photo here that's kind of interfering with the picture, and an easy solution to that is just select your picture, go up to window, go to text wrap. What we want to do is we want to wrap that text around. So we want to choose the second button here, and what that's going to do is allow the text to bump around. And if it's, on this top part, it's still kind of close, we can still give it cushion here. If you just click on this to increase the cushion size, it will help give you a little bit more space. Okay. Delete any weird spaces, like for this one, it's not very consistent. There's a space in between before the subhead, but not after each paragraph. So you want to check that and make sure it's consistent. This looks good. Let's see here, let me zoom out. What you'll want to do is maybe redo this part copy-wise, but this actually is a good problem to have because this week we are putting in a contents box, which we didn't do last week. So it's kind of throwing another little problem in the mix. So what you're probably going to have to do is make this, go to text frame options, make this 2 columns, this first one. And then we can always go, where's my margins and columns? Let's make this 2 so you can actually visually see it. And then we're going to pull this over. Actually, we're going to do margin columns. Let's do this to 1. We don't want to see that in the background. It's kind of annoying. We want to pull this to probably about here. There we go. Looks good. And then that way you can get your table contents box, which really doesn't have to be this big. I think mine's like this big. So, you know, kind of play around with it. You can, let's see. I was going to say, you could put a picture here. You could have this start over here too, if you still wanted to do a 3-column. The only thing you would have to do, so like say if you want to do a 3-column, is you would have to put a text wrap around this box, which would be your contents. And let me fill it with some white. Let's give it a black or a red stroke. So you would just do the same thing you did for that picture, text wrap. If you did it in the same column and then just give it more space above. And then that way this article starts up here. And then you have your table of contents. Let me hide my guides so you can see. You have your table of contents there. Okay. So just make sure you don't have any widows, any weird things going on. And then that kind of bumps this down a little bit more. You could make these images bigger if you wanted to, or let's see, maybe we could do, let's do 3 columns. Oops. What am I doing? It's already in front. Okay, so this is 3 columns, and you could bring this up a little bit. And then maybe just making some of these images bigger, you know, to kind of fill up that space. You could put, let's see if you can put like a, circle around this one. And then this one, you can step it up too. It doesn't have to be like this one has to be the same size. It could be just a little bit bigger or smaller. Play around with it. Put a text wrap on it if you need to, if it's getting away of the text. There we go. Let's see. Pull this over a little bit. And we could make this 2 columns. You would just need to put a text wrap on this. And it just disappeared. Okay, so play around with it, see what works, fix any widows that you see like this, for instance. You know, maybe you would bump down the, for here, bump this down, just fix any kind of weird stuff going on. But yeah, just make those changes. Make sure you're, the main thing is you're, getting used to using your character and your paragraph styles. There's a reason for that. Making sure that everything's aligned and, using your, having your body copy link is also linked to this page is also important. When you start your next article, it doesn't have to be linked to this text frame. You just need to start it on this page and then link it to this page. All right, I hope this helps.